America prepares to face attack on its cities and atomic bomb destruction. A screen of Air Force units goes into action to protect our borders from the unannounced arrival of the enemy. The enemy who apparently knows no mercy and who has signified his intention to conquer the world under the banner of communist imperialism. In the president's own words, it will require all of us to get ready to defend our homes.
Le 25 juin 1950, la Corée du Nord attaque la Corée du Sud. Dans la conjoncture particulière de la guerre froide et de la lutte contre l'expansionnisme soviétique, le gouvernement américain décide d'intervenir militairement. La peur du communisme gagne l'ensemble des États-Unis.
May Day brings a wave of anti-communist sentiment as 100,000 march down New York's Fifth Avenue in a loyalty parade, reviewed by Francis Cardinal Spellman and Mayor Dwyer. In the land of liberty, virtually every national group and every religious denomination are represented, presenting a united front. Conducted under the auspices of the Catholic Church, during which Cardinal Spellman again joins in the denunciation of communism on the day that has traditionally belonged to red forces throughout the world.
Depuis 2 ans, le président Truman a mis en place une commission chargée d'enquêter sur la loyauté des fonctionnaires fédéraux. Les administrations reçoivent la consigne de renvoyer ceux qui, par leurs opinions, menacent la sécurité des États-Unis. Le FBI crée des fichiers, fait dresser la liste des personnes pouvant nuire aux intérêts du pays, instaure une censure du courrier et procède à l'installation de micros clandestins ou de tables d'écoute. Des employés, des ouvriers, des enseignants perdent leur emploi. Au département d'État, 31 fonctionnaires dont on a intercepté le courrier sont suspectés d'homosexualité et renvoyés. L'Amérique entre dans une ère d'inquisition. Le Congrès, de son côté, n'est pas resté inactif. La Chambre des représentants, qui dispose d'une commission sur les activités anti-américaines, a entrepris une vaste enquête dans les milieux du cinéma.
The Committee on Un-American Activities is investigating alleged communist influence and infiltration in the motion picture industry.
Le tout Hollywood défile. Plusieurs personnalités sont condamnées à des peines de prison.
Are you a member of the Communist Party? Or have you ever been a member of the Communist Party?
It is absolutely beyond the power of this committee to inquire into my association in any organization.
You have to stop.
This committee is attempting to establish the right, which is historically denied to any committee of this sort, to invade the rights and privileges and immunities of American citizens, whether they be Protestant or Methodist or Jewish or Catholic, whether they be Republicans or Democrats or anything.
Would you favor the outlawing of the Communist Party?
I favor the outlawing of the Communist Party as an agency of a foreign government.
You consider them to be the agents of a foreign government?
I do so, yes.
C'est l'arrestation d'Alger Hiss, un brillant diplomate américain, qui va projeter sous les feux de l'actualité un obscur sénateur républicain du Wisconsin, Joseph McCarthy. Hiss est accusé d'avoir transmis des documents officiels à l'Union soviétique. Le très zélé enquêteur qui a su démasquer le traître est un jeune représentant de Californie, Richard Nixon.
I am holding in my hand a microfilm of very highly confidential, secret State Department documents. These documents were fed out of the State Department over 10 years ago by communists who were employees of that department and who were interested in seeing that these documents were sent to the Soviet Union.
Joseph McCarthy s'appuie sur le discours de Nixon pour dénoncer la mainmise des communistes sur le département d'État.
Alger Hiss and Frank Coe.
Il déclare qu'il détient une liste de 205 agents communistes ayant infiltré le ministère des Affaires étrangères. Une liste qui, McCarthy l'avouera lui-même plus tard, n'existait pas. Monomaniaque du complot communiste, McCarthy va se servir du Sénat pour entraîner l'Amérique dans une chasse aux sorcières sans fin. Il s'y adonnera sans retenue, au cours des 4 années de sa vie publique qui suffiront à construire sa renommée. En tant que président de la commission sénatoriale d'investigation, Joseph McCarthy, assisté de son fidèle Roy Cohn, dirige les audiences.
We do not have the right to exclude from the room any media of information. We feel we cannot exclude television any more than we could exclude newsmen. However, the television must be handled in such a way that will not embarrass the witness, will not cause him any discomfiture. Also, counsel is entitled not to have any bright lights shined upon him. Could you turn those lights a little more? You solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do. Sit down, please.
Lors de ses apparitions publiques, McCarthy transforme le Sénat et ses commissions en autant de scènes de théâtre où il donne invariablement la même représentation. Un public de curieux de plus en plus nombreux se bouscule pour assister au spectacle où McCarthy somme de comparaître, un peu au hasard, au gré des fuites et des dénonciations qui lui parviennent, les responsables de la politique étrangère américaine. Il accuse nommément des fonctionnaires gouvernementaux, des enseignants, des journalistes, des universitaires d'être les animateurs d'une conspiration d'inspiration communiste à la solde des soviétiques. McCarthy propose dans des shows de les exposer devant un public qui de sa vie n'en a jamais rencontré.
Well, I will see if I can answer it properly.
Well, you said it wasn't a proper question.
L'accusation est chaque fois particulièrement grave. L'Union soviétique ennemie a pris le contrôle de l'exécutif et dirige la politique internationale des États-Unis.
Illegal and unconstitutional, both in the manner in which the authority given to it by the Congress has been executed to hire men not on the basis of ability, but on the basis of political belief. Now, both of these, we say, indicate an unconstitutional purpose, a purpose to invade the domain protected by the First Amendment, which is the provision that Congress will pass no law invading the freedom of speech or of conscience.
Peu à peu se constitue autour de McCarthy un véritable réseau de renseignement. Les fichiers lui sont fournis par les services officiels du FBI, mais lui parviennent aussi à l'initiative personnelle de fonctionnaires travaillant dans les administrations. Début 51, McCarthy s'attaque à son tour à Hollywood. Acteurs, scénaristes, réalisateurs doivent répondre de complots communistes. Des listes noires circulent avec les noms de ceux qu'il faut écarter. Parmi eux, les acteurs Humphrey Bogart et Lauren Bacall. L'acteur Ronald Reagan, futur président des États-Unis, est un des plus virulents dans cette chasse aux sorcières. La délation se transforme en instrument de défense. Pour se disculper, on donne des noms. Elia Kazan, qui milita au Parti communiste de 1934 à 1936, dit ce qu'il croit savoir sur l'emprise communiste dans les milieux du cinéma. À l'inverse, Arthur Miller exalte le courage des adversaires de cette inquisition et stigmatise la lâcheté. Charlie Chaplin, victime d'une campagne de presse d'autant plus violente qu'après un séjour de 41 ans aux États-Unis, il n'a toujours pas pris la nationalité américaine, se réfugie en 1952 en Europe. Joseph Losey, sur la liste noire depuis 1947, suit son exemple. La police arrête les grévistes qui bloquent l'entrée des studios de Hollywood. Parmi les témoins à charge, Walt Disney.
When he pulled the strike, the first people to smear me and put me on the unfair list were all of the commie front organizations, and he evidently heard that I had called them all a bunch of communists, and I believe they are.
L'intérêt grandissant que provoquent les révélations de McCarthy force la Maison-Blanche, où l'on retrouve la même paranoïa envers les communistes et leurs sympathisants, à adopter une position semblable. Le président Truman déclare « Lorsque la patrie est en danger, les libertés individuelles sont secondaires. » Sous la pression de McCarthy, il n'est plus nécessaire d'apporter des preuves sur la déloyauté d'un fonctionnaire. De simples doutes suffisent pour justifier la révocation. 26 000 employés de l'administration fédérale font l'objet d'une enquête approfondie. 7 000 démissionnent et 739 sont révoqués. Les uns parce qu'ils appartenaient à des organisations dites subversives, d'autres pour immoralité sexuelle ou homosexualité. La chasse aux sorcières a bel et bien commencé et c'est le pouvoir exécutif qui l'a ouverte. Julius et Ethel Rosenberg sont arrêtés en juin de la même année. Ils sont accusés d'avoir livré aux soviétiques les secrets de la bombe atomique. McCarthy est en train de devenir un héros national. Il n'hésite pas à traîner dans la boue le secrétaire à la Défense, considéré par lui comme principal responsable du complot qui seul pouvait expliquer le recul des États-Unis dans le monde, et va même jusqu'à traiter d'enfant de salaud le président lui-même. Mais le principal bénéficiaire du McCarthyisme sera le Parti républicain, qui protège le sénateur, jugeant son soutien inestimable dans la prochaine campagne électorale. En 1952, Eisenhower se lance dans la course à la présidence et choisit Richard Nixon comme vice-président. Leur campagne sera centrée sur 3 thèmes, 3 ennemis à abattre: Corée, communisme, corruption. On apprendra plus tard que pour couvrir ses pertes au jeu, McCarthy, en violation avec la loi, touchait de larges pots de vin de Pepsi-Cola pour obtenir la libéralisation du prix du sucre. Eisenhower est élu, c'est la première victoire des républicains depuis 1920. Dès janvier 1953, McCarthy retrouve son poste à la tête de la commission des activités anti-américaines et continue sa croisade. Le McCarthyisme atteint son paroxysme. Les bibliothèques publiques et scolaires sont expurgées de plus de 50 000 titres.
Did you feel that professors should be given the right to teach sophomores that marriage, a big quote, should be cast out of our civilization as antiquated and stupid religious phenomena? Was that your feeling at that time?
My feeling was that professors should have the right to express their considered opinions on any subject, whatever they were, sir.
The answer is yes.
The answer is yes. Communists and socialists should be allowed to teach in the schools. They should have the right to teach anything that came to their minds as being a proper thing to teach. I was suspended from classes on April 1st, and I resigned from the university.
And you resigned from the university?
There are thousands of able and loyal employees in the federal government of the United States who have been properly cleared according to the laws and the security practices of their agencies, as I was.
Fin février, le ministère de la Défense donne l'ordre à ses officiers de ne plus comparaître devant la commission McCarthy. L'opinion publique s'alarme et la presse émet les premières critiques. McCarthy commence à devenir gênant et l'administration Eisenhower n'a plus besoin de lui.
Of course there are risks if we are not vigilant, but we do not have to be hysterical. We can be vigilant, we can be Americans.
En mars 1953, première brèche, une émission de CBS attaque McCarthy.
Senator McCarthy claims that only the left-wing press criticized him. Let us look at some of these left-wing papers. The Herald Tribune of New York. McCarthyism involves assaults on basic Republican concepts. The Milwaukee Journal. The line must be drawn and defended or McCarthy will become the government. The Evening Star of Washington. It was a bad day for everyone who resents and detests the bully boy tactics which Senator McCarthy so often employs. The New York World Telegram. Bamboozling, bludgeoning, distorting way. The St. Louis Post-Dispatch. Unscrupulous, McCarthy bullying. What a tragic irony it is that the president's political advisors keep him from doing what every decent instinct. Proof.
Un mois plus tard, McCarthy se rend au Sénat pour s'expliquer sur l'affaire Shine. Le sénateur et son adjoint Roy Cohn accusaient le haut commandement militaire d'avoir persécuté et pris en otage le soldat David Shine, un proche du comité McCarthy qui avait été chargé d'enquêter sur d'éventuelles infiltrations communistes à l'intérieur des bases militaires. Le cas du soldat Shine était le prétexte idéal que tout le monde attendait pour en finir avec McCarthy. Avec l'accord du président Eisenhower, la mise à mort de McCarthy pouvait commencer, et en direct. Car pour la première fois, les caméras de la télévision pénétrèrent au cœur du Sénat et retransmirent ses auditions en direct, 8 heures par jour, et en firent le plus grand spectacle politique de l'histoire des États-Unis. 20 millions de téléspectateurs découvrirent, en 187 heures d'antenne réparties sur 36 jours, le vrai visage de McCarthy et l'homme odieux qu'il pouvait être. De ces 187 heures, le réalisateur Emile De Antonio a tiré un film, Point of Order, qui raconte la chute de McCarthy. Le film met à nu, au fil des auditions, la paranoïa du sénateur, qui va voir ses soutiens le lâcher un à un. de l'ouverture de la commission des accusations à l'effondrement final.
Jenkins, to answer your question, let me say it's right here with us now. Unless we make sure that there is no infiltration of our government, then just as certain as you sit there, in the period of our lives, you will see a red world. Once you have this United States, from the Atlantic to the Pacific, covered with a network of professors and teachers who are getting their orders from Moscow, from an organization that wants to destroy this nation, that wants to corrupt the minds of youth, then, Mr. Jenkins, we are rapidly losing the battle. The thing that the American people can do is to be vigilant day and night to make sure they don't have communists teaching the sons and daughters of America. There is no remote possibility of this war which we're in today, and it's a war which we've been losing, no remote possibility of this ending except by victory or by death for this civilization.
Pour débattre de l'affaire Schein, ont pris place dans la salle Robert Stevens, secrétaire à la Défense, John Adams, conseiller militaire, Joseph Welch, conseiller spécial du Pentagone, Carl Mundt, qui préside les débats, Ray Jenkins, qui dirige le sous-comité, John McClellan, sénateur de l'Arkansas, Stuart Symington, sénateur du Missouri, et Roy Cohn, le bras droit de McCarthy.
I'd suggest, in the interest of these hearings, charges are often forgotten. The charges were, did Senator McCarthy and two members of his staff use improper pressure for Mr. David Schein with the Army? The countercharge was that there was blackmail on the part of the Army and the use of Mr. Schein as a hostage. Now, those are the charges that have been made.
Gentlemen of the committee, in order that we may all be quite clear as to just why this hearing has come about, from mid-July of last year until March 1st of this year, David Schein was discussed between one branch or other of the Department of the Army and Senator McCarthy or members of his staff in more than 65 telephone calls. This matter was discussed at approximately 19 meetings between Army personnel and Senator McCarthy or members of his staff.
Let's talk about Schein, an experience similar to none which I have had in my life. Mr. Cohn became extremely agitated and he became extremely abusive. The thing that he was so violent about was the fact that I said to Cohn that I'd like to give him some advice. I pointed out to him that the national interest required that Schein be treated just like every other soldier.
You mean you were breaking the news gently, Mr.
Yes, sir. That is right. He responded with vigor and force. I said, "Oh, Roy, don't say that." I said, "Come on. Really, what is going to happen?" And he responded with even more force, "We'll wreck the Army."
You're saying that you have no recollection of it.
No, sir. I say I do not recall having said that.
Well, that's what I get your answer
Yes,
to be.
sir.
Now, you don't recall having said it.
No, sir.
But you don't deny it.
Sir, I'm saying I did not say that. I am sure
All
I
right,
did.
now you're saying you did not say it, Mr. Cohn.
Yes, sir. I say I am
Very well.
sure that I did not make that statement, and I am sure that Mr. Adams and anybody else with any sense could not ever believe that I was threatening to wreck the Army or that I could wreck the Army. I say, sir, the statement is ridiculous.
I'm talking about Stevens being through as Secretary of the Army.
That's equally ridiculous, sir.
And untrue.
Yes, sir. Equally ridiculous and untrue.
The treatment accorded and the opportunities afforded Mr. Schein after his entry into the military service should be the same as for any other American citizen, no more and no less. Mr. Cohn came to my office at 11:20 a.m.
You felt that Mr. Cohn was being too persistent or was trying to high-pressure anyone?
Not me, sir.
To hold this boy Shine as a sort of a hostage and use him as a bait for the purpose of evading this investigation, was it?
Certainly not. Mr. Chairman, I want to point out that I think that question is completely improper and unfair. The implication is that this chairman could have been bought off. All the evidence is that this chairman could, under no circumstances, have been bought off this investigation.
Private Shine almost invariably rode in the cab of the truck, whereas the other soldiers, sometimes numbering 40 and 50, were packed like cattle or sheep in the bed of the truck and exposed to the weather. Did you learn that?
No, sir. I've been in the military for a while. I've never seen young men treated like cattle. And I know that I don't think we should let it go to the mothers of this country that their sons are being treated like cattle, because they are not. Don't you think, actually, Mr. Secretary, this is all ridiculous in the extreme for this committee and all of these competent Army officers to be sitting here trying to find out why a private in the Army was successively promoted until he is finally up to the very top position of private. What do you think?
Well, I think you would like to have had him something other than a private.
Chairman, I don't mind leaving. Let's, for the time being, assume that what you say is right. If I wanted him as something other than a private, I was awfully unsuccessful, wasn't I?
But that wasn't your fault, Senator.
Right. Very good. No politics.
Le président Eisenhower vient d'adresser une directive au secrétaire d'État à la Défense. Il est strictement interdit à quiconque de faire état devant le sous-comité du Sénat du moindre document ou de conversation confidentielle concernant cette enquête.
This is a letter signed Dwight D. Eisenhower, addressed to the Honorable, the Secretary of Defense, Washington, D.C. Dear Mr. Secretary, it is essential to the successful working of our system that the persons entrusted with power in any one of the three great branches of government shall not encroach upon the authority confided to the others. The ultimate responsibility for the conduct of the executive branch rests with the President. You will instruct employees of your department that in all of their appearances before the subcommittee of the Senate Committee on Government Operations regarding the inquiry now before it, they are not to testify to any such conversations or communications or to produce any such documents or reproductions. This separation is vital to preclude the exercise of arbitrary power by any branch of the government. Sincerely, Dwight D. Eisenhower. Senator McCarthy or Mr. Cohn.
I don't believe that this is the result of President Eisenhower's own personal thinking. Someone, for his own benefit, should contact the President immediately and point out to him, perhaps, that he and I and many of us campaigned and promised the American people we would no longer engage in government by secrecy, whitewash, and cover-up, because the American people will not stand for this. Let's go through, let's lay all the facts upon the table. And we can't lay the facts upon the table if we're going to draw an iron curtain. I think that Eisenhower has been badly advised.
Mr. Chairman, just a moment, sir.
May I finish?
This is an instruction from the President of the United States, and I consider myself bound by it, sir.
Mr. Chairman, we've spent just a vast amount of time here trying to get answers to some simple question. The question is this. You made a statement this morning under oath. You say, I wish to make it perfectly plain that the decisions and the acts on the part of the Army concerning the controversy presently being heard by the Senate subcommittee were the decisions and the acts of the Department of the Army alone. Now, do you still stand by that statement?
I do.
I'm sure that any man who can add 2 and 2, Mr. Secretary, will agree that that completely contradicts your statement that all decisions were the decisions of the Department of the Army alone. I wonder if you want your your sworn testimony this morning to stand as it is or not?
I want it to stand. Does this mean I'm a communist, Senator?
That's awfully funny, isn't it, Mr. Secretary? That's terribly funny. I made it very clear to you at all times that I felt that you were anti-communist. I also made it very clear to you that I thought that you were very naively and unintelligently anti-communist. May I finish, Mr. Chairman? I think this is infinitely more important than anything we bring out of this hearing.
McCarthy s'était procuré en totale violation avec la loi une lettre confidentielle du patron du FBI classée top secret. Ce faux pas va être utilisé pour signifier à McCarthy que Edgar Hoover aussi l'a laissé tomber.
I'm a little confused here. This is a copy of a letter that's being introduced. I'd like to know how did it get here?
It was handed to me just now by Senator McCarthy. Purports to be a letter written October 26, 1951, with the Federal Bureau of Investigation and signed by J. Edgar Hoover, the director.
Mr. Chairman. Pardon, Mr. Welch? I would like to have Mr. J. Edgar Hoover say that he wrote the letter and mailed it. Then we'd know what we were dealing with.
Mr. Chairman.
Senator McCarthy.
The original, I want to question the secretary as whether or not the original of this and other letters like it are in his file. I want to make it very clear that I have gotten neither this letter nor anything else from the FBI.
Chairman, I assure you this purported copy did not come from the Army files, nor does the Senator for a moment suggest it did.
Mr. Chairman, if Mr. Welch is going to say there's not a copy of this in the Army files, he should be sworn because that statement is untrue as far as I know.
I did not say that, Senator. I said that this purported copy did not come from the Army files, and you know I'm quite right, sir. And I have an absorbing curiosity to know how in the dickens you got hold of it.
Wait a minute. I think you should read the letter.
I'd like to have the advice of counsel, if I may, as to whether or not I'm at liberty to discuss a letter from Mr. J. Edgar Hoover.
You're at liberty to read it.
Because I think it's very bad policy to discuss these things without Mr. Hoover's known about it.
This is a matter that ought to be released by J. Edgar Hoover before we deal with it in this room.
Mr. Hoover has examined the document and has advised me that he never wrote any such letter. And because the document constitutes an unauthorized use of information which is classified as confidential, it is my opinion that it should not be made public.
Now, Mr. Collier, as I understand your testimony, this document that I hold in my hand is a carbon copy of precisely nothing. Is that right?
I will say that Mr. Hoover informed me that it is not a carbon copy of a memorandum prepared or sent by the FBI.
Let's have it straight from the shoulder. So far as you know, it's a carbon copy of precisely nothing.
So far as I know, it is, yes.
And so far as you know, this document in this courtroom sprung yesterday by Senator McCarthy is a perfect phony.
Mr. Chairman, this has been referred to as a phony by Mr. Welch. That's one of the most serious reflections upon the integrity of the chairman that we've had so far, and I've had many reflections upon my integrity.
Senator McCarthy, you are bound to be aware of the fact that some attack has been made upon that letter.
Let me make it very clear, Mr. Jenkins and Mr. Chairman, that I will not under any circumstances reveal the source of any information which I get as chairman of the committee. One of the reasons why I have been successful, I believe, to some extent in exposing communism is because the people who give me information from within the government know that their confidence will not be violated. There is no way on earth that any committee, any force, can get me to violate the confidence of those people.
Senator McCarthy, and we are trying to pursue this question to its logical end so that the committee may know all of the facts. That 2.25-page document was delivered to you by someone from the Army.
Mr. Jenkins?
And perhaps in the Intelligence Department. Can you go that far?
An officer in the Intelligence Department.
Senator McCarthy, when you took the stand, you, of course, understood you were going to be asked about this letter, did you not?
I assume that would be the subject.
And you, of course, understood you were going to be asked the source from which you got it.
Mr. Welch, you are not the first individual who tried to get me to betray the confidence and give out the names of my informants. You will be no more successful than those who have tried in the past. Period.
I am only asking you, sir, did you realize when you took that oath that you were making a solemn promise to tell the whole truth to this committee?
I understand the oath, Mr. Welch.
Thank you, sir. Then tell us who delivered the document to you.
The answer is no. You will not get that information.
You wish then to put your own interpretation on your oath and tell us less than the whole truth?
Mr. Welch, I think I've made it very clear to you that neither you nor anyone else will ever get me to violate the confidence of loyal people in this government who give me information about communist infiltration. I repeat, you will not get their names. You will not get any information which will allow you to identify them so that you or anyone else can get their job.
McCarthy refuse de révéler le nom de ses informateurs. Ce système de protection de ses sources lui a longtemps servi pour ne pas donner les preuves de ce qu'il avançait. Cette règle, jusqu'ici acceptée, ne le sera plus dorénavant.
According to testimony presented this committee yesterday, the officer informant who gave this obviously fraudulent letter was guilty of sending secret information to somebody not authorized to receive it, and in so doing, disobeyed the orders of his superiors. In view of the testimony, Mr. Chairman, I do hope that every effort will be made to find out who was the informant. But at least as important should be knowledge on the part of the 8 government agencies who sit on the Intelligence Advisory Committee that they may now have in their midst someone who is willing, for whatever reason he considers proper, to distribute secret information to unauthorized people. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
No directive will preclude me from examining material bearing upon the security of this nation. The senators must, if they are to perform their duty, must see the sequence of letters from the FBI in which they point out day after day what a dangerous situation you have in our top secret radar laboratory. Why the tremendous efforts have been made to call this committee off the investigation, the disclosure of communists in government. Mr. Chairman, if the Attorney General has some good reason why these documents should not be made available to the committee, he should not be bashful about coming down in executive session and telling us why, Mr. Chairman.
I don't want any of your confidential information. All I want is let the country get this legal question so we can all operate within the law, if that's possible. I say as for myself, you say what you'll do and what you'll not do. I tell you, Senator, that I will not set myself up above and apart from the law. I'm going to conform to it. Now, you do as you please.
But, Senator, we have a duty to do our job, even though we may differ with a perfectly honest version of what the President thinks his job is.
You say I'm trying to put you in jail? I'm asking no such thing. You've reached a crossroads in this thing. And we're entitled, in the course of these hearings now, to have this thing settled if there's any way to settle it.
Senator McCarthy, do you think that President Eisenhower could put any classification on the secret document which would prevent you from being a person authorized to receive and examine?
Now, your question was, does Mr. Eisenhower have what?
President Eisenhower, sir.
President Eisenhower have what? The answer is yes or no.
Le sous-comité du Sénat demande à Roy Cohn de révéler les noms de la fameuse liste d'une centaine d'agents communistes ayant infiltré les différentes administrations gouvernementales et l'armée.
In this now famous 2.25-page document, there were about 35 names listed. This is pretty serious. Have we had anything as serious as this so far?
Oh, yes, I think we've got something much more serious right now. Right,
well, I'm talking about prior to this hearing.
Let me answer that question, Mr. Chairman. I think we've got a much more serious situation now in communist infiltration of the CIA.
disturbs me beyond words.
Well, we haven't. The members of the committee have not been advised, and I do think that...
Oh, yes, they have. Oh, yes, they have.
Have we, the names and of the people...
I've discussed this matter with the members of the committee. I also discussed with the members of the committee the question of communist infiltration of atomic and hydrogen bomb plants. I felt that was, I think, even more important than this infiltration of...
Just let me finish in view of this one point. May I have from the files all the memos and meetings and minutes with reference to this matter so that we on the committee can be fully informed?
You certainly may, Senator. Certainly may.
Well, may I ask the distinguished chairman, have we yet received the names, and I assume they're in the file, of the claimed 133 communists that are ready for investigation? I've asked for it.
You know that I have been tied up here day and night with this investigation. I frankly don't have the time now, and that's one of the reasons why I object to this show continuing on the road.
Mr. Cohn, what is the exact number of communists or subversives that are loose today in these defense plans?
The exact number that is loose, sir?
Yes, sir.
I don't know.
Well, that's 130, is that right?
Yes, sir. I'm going to try to particularize for you if I can.
I'm in a hurry. I don't want the sun to go down while they're still in there if we can get them out.
I'm afraid we won't be able to work that.
Well, I've got a suggestion about it, sir. How many are there?
I believe the figure is approximately 130.
Approximately 130.
So those are people, Mr. Welch, concerned...
I don't care. You've told us who they are. Are you alarmed at that situation, Mr. Cole?
Yes, sir, I am.
Nothing could be more alarming, could it?
Certainly a very alarming thing.
Will you not, before the sun goes down, give those names to the Department of Defense tonight? Would you mind doing that?
Whatever the committee directs on that, sir.
I wish the committee would direct that all the names be sent both to the FBI and to the Department of Defense with extreme suddenness.
Face aux attaques de Joseph Welch, McCarthy sort de sa manche sa dernière carte. Il proclame solennel qu'il va faire une révélation stupéfiante concernant l'un des assistants de Welch.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Welch's request that the information be given once we know of anyone who might be performing any work for the Communist Party. I think we should tell him that he has in his law firm a young man named Fisher, whom he recommended, incidentally, to do the work in this committee, who has been for a number of years a member of an organization which was named, years and years ago, as the legal bulwark of the Communist Party. I have hesitated bringing that up, but I have been rather bored with your phony request to Mr. Cohen here that he personally get every communist out of government before sundown. Therefore, we will give you the information about the young man in your own organization. Now, I'm not asking you at this time to explain why you tried to foist him on this committee. That you did, the committee knows. Whether you knew that he was a member of that communist organization or not, I don't know. I assume you did not, Mr. Welch, because I get the impression in the file you are quite an actor. I don't think you have any conception of the danger of the Communist Party. I don't think you yourself would ever knowingly aid the communist cause. I think you are unknowingly aiding it when you try to burlesque this hearing in which we are attempting to bring out the facts.
Mr. Chairman, well, it's fair to say that he has no recognition, no memory of Mr. Welch recommending either Mr. Fisher or anybody else as counsel for this committee.
Senator McCarthy, Senator, sometimes you say, may I have your attention? May I have your attention? Now, this time, sir, I want you to listen with both.
Good.
Until this moment, Senator, I think I never really gauged your cruelty
or your recklessness. Fred Fisher is a young man who went to the Harvard Law School and came into my firm and is starting what looks to be a brilliant career with us. When I decided to work for this committee, I asked Fred Fisher, I don't know anything about you except I've always liked you. But if there's anything funny in the life of you that would hurt anybody in this case, you speak up quick. And Fred Fisher said, Mr. Welch, when I was in law school, and for a period of months after, I belonged to the Lawyers Guild, as you have suggested, Senator. And I said, Fred, I just don't think I'm going to ask you to work on the case. If I do, one of these days, that will come out and go over national television, and it will just hurt like the dickens. So, Senator, I asked him to go back to Boston. Little did I dream you could be so reckless and so cruel as to do an injury to that lad, needlessly inflicted by you. If it were in my power to forgive you for your reckless cruelty, I would do so.
Mr. Welch talks about this being cruel and reckless. He was just baiting. He has been baiting Mr. Cohen here for hours.
I did you, I think, no personal injury, Mr. Cohen.
No, sir.
I meant to do you no personal injury. And if I did, I beg your pardon. Let us not assassinate this lad further, Senator. You've done enough. Have you left no sense of decency?
I know this hurts you, Mr. Welch. Mr. Welch talks about any sense of decency. It seems that Mr. Welch is pained so deeply. He thinks it's improper for me to give the record, the Communist Front record, of the man whom he wanted to foist upon this committee. But it doesn't pain him at all. There's no pain in his chest about the attempt to destroy the reputation and take the jobs away from the young men who are working in my committee. And Mr. Welch, if I have said anything here which is untrue, then tell me. I have heard you and everyone else talk so much about laying the truth upon the table that when I heard it's completely phony, Mr. Welch, I've listened to you now for a long time, to say now before sundown, you must get these people out of government. So that I just want to have it very clear that you were not so serious about that when you tried to recommend this man for this committee. But the point is, Mr.
Chair, I would like to say again that he does not believe Mr. Welch recommended Mr. Fisher as counsel for this committee because he had, through his office, all the recommendations which were made and does not recall any of them coming from Mr. Welch, and that would include Mr. Fisher.
Well, let me ask Mr. Welch. You brought him down, did you not, to act as your assistant?
Mr. McCarthy, I will not discuss this further with you. You have sat within 6 feet of me and could have asked me about Fred Fisher. You have seen fit to bring it out, and if there is a God in heaven, it will do neither you nor your cause any good. I will not discuss it further. I will not ask Mr. Cohen any more witnesses. You, Mr. Chairman, may, if you will, call the next witness.
Excédé par McCarthy et ses accusations fantaisistes, ses révélations fracassantes mais mensongères, Stuart Symington, soutenu par l'ensemble du comité, prend les devants et décide de porter l'estocade finale.
The charge by the junior senator from Wisconsin that we've had another year of treason under President Eisenhower. The charge that the CIA is infiltrated, infested with communists. The charge that the Department of Defense is full of communists. The charge that the Department of Justice, that the Attorney General of the Department of Justice, there's something phony about him, and the charge that the hydrogen bomb plants and the atomic bomb plants are full of communists. Well, where do we go from here as the American people? It would appear some of us
want to end up in this country with just plain anarchy. You better go to a psychiatrist. I want no psychological bribes from you. Nobody in the Senate knows more about how to avoid testifying than the junior senator from Wisconsin. And everybody in the United States knows that that fact is true. There have been times when they wanted to put you under oath and you didn't want to go.
Mr. Symington has said that no one knows better than the senator from Wisconsin how to avoid testifying. I have now, at this time, made the offer to go on the stand and let him question me about everything. I don't care how irrelevant it is.
Mr. Chairman, I have decided to testify under oath before this committee. I believe that I will have performed a public service of overwhelming importance if any action of mine can induce you to answer under oath the allegations formally preferred against you by the Senate subcommittee, and to which you have heretofore persistently refused to respond except to denounce the subcommittee. Accordingly, I propose that we agree on the following points. You will agree to an investigation by a committee of the Senate. I will agree to take the stand in the present proceeding and to testify as to the events preceding the institution of these hearings. I trust that you will confirm your agreement with this program. If you are in accord, please sign as indicated below. Senator, here's the letter. If you will sign it, then we can get this matter settled.
Mr. Symington, I think, and I'm glad we're on television. I think the millions of people can see how low that a man can sink. I repeat, they can see how low an alleged man can sink.
Senator, let me tell you something.
The chair believes that
the American people have had a look at you for 6 weeks. You're not fooling anyone either. In all the years that I have been in this government, based on the testimony that's been given before this committee under oath, I think the files of what you call my staff, my director, my chief of staff, have been the sloppiest and most dangerously handled files that I have ever known of since I've been in the government.
Mr. Chairman, now you can run away if you like, Stu. You can run away if you like. You have been here trying to smear the staff of this committee. You jump up and run away without answering the question. I have asked you a simple question. Do you have any evidence of any kind to indicate that there's any subversive amongst these young men? If not, you are leaving here this afternoon, leaving a smear upon the name of each and every one of them. You shouldn't do that, Mr. Symington. That's just dishonest. That's the thing that the Communist Party is doing too long.
Apparently, every time anybody says anything against anybody working for Senator McCarthy, he is swearing them and is accusing them of communism.
Just answer the question. Do you know of any subversive?
That's the best answer that I could give.
Do you know of any?
Stand in recess until 10 o'clock.
You won't answer whether you know of any subversive. Mr. Chairman, even though the chair is leaving, I want to make this record. And Mr. Reporter, will you take this down? Mr. Reporter, will you take this down? Mr. Symington, other members of the Democrat Party here have been intimating that they know of some subversive on the staff investigating communists. I have asked Mr. Symington point blank to tell us whether he knew of any such subversive. He runs away. He won't answer the question. May I say that is the most dishonest, the most unfounded smear upon some of the most outstanding young men that I have ever seen work to uncover communists. And before this is over, the American people have a better picture of it. I guess we must go and vote now.
En décembre 1954, le Sénat met un point final à son aventure. Le dernier acte de la pièce, la motion de censure concluant à son indignité, condamne le sénateur McCarthy pour avoir porté des accusations frauduleuses et fantaisistes perverti et déformé la vérité et bafoué la dignité, l'honneur et l'autorité du Sénat. McCarthy, qui est écarté par un décret du président Eisenhower, sombre dans l'alcoolisme. Ses dernières apparitions sont pathétiques.
Serious than being a traitor to the country as part of the communist conspiracy. Are you enjoying this abuse of the general? Question, do you think stealing $50 is more serious than being a traitor to the country as part of the communist conspiracy? But they say, oh, it's all right to uncover them, but don't get rough doing it, McCarthy.
McCarthy mourra dans l'oubli 3 ans plus tard, en 1957.